Welcome! In this video, I'm going to discuss the Rage Against the Garage Door Opener device, also known as RATGDO. I'm going to show you what's in the package, how to flash it, how to install it, and how to integrate it into Home Assistant. This video is going to be controversial. There's no two ways about it. Feel free to argue with me about that down in the comments, but please watch it all the way through or I'm not going to respond to you. I think once you watch it all the way through, you might just come to see things a bit differently. Plus, you want to learn about RATGDO, don't you? Let's hop in the Wayback Machine. Cast your mind back. On October 25th, 2023, Chamberlain Group, makers of the Chamberlain and LiftMaster brand garage door openers, made an announcement that they would be preventing unauthorized usage of their MyQ ecosystem through third-party apps. As the biggest player in the US garage door market by a wide margin, being installed in a whopping 65% of new constructions in 2018 and currently owning approximately 70% of the garage door opener market, this obviously made many people's heads explode. Hundreds of posts were made on the forum by people crying about this announcement. If you were one of them, and if you're easily offended, I apologize in advance, but I'm here to tell it like it is. If you appreciate the truth, you'll be fine. We should review bomb the app and blast Chamberlain on Twitter. For what? It's a shame these companies treat their customers like this. Don't forget, every one of us paid money for one of their devices. For what? To be treated like this? Treated like what? Paid for what exactly? We'll come back to that in a bit. We vote with our money. When technology becomes a burden, we should cast our votes elsewhere. Through the chaos, there were a few voices of reason. In response to, so why the heck do they even bother to make an API available? This educated response came. They didn't make the API available. It's a closed API they use with their app. The community just reverse engineered it from the official app. Ever since then, it's been cat and mouse. Of course, I also attempted to be a voice of reason, but by then, I'd been warning people of the inevitability of this scenario for over a year. Nobody wanted to listen. Even viewers on this channel, in response to previous videos I made where I explained the solution that I was using, failed to grasp exactly what it was that I was explaining. So rather than waste additional breath, I simply sat back and said, I told you so. Boy, let me tell you how gratifying that was. Of course, it went over like a fart in church. I was scolded by the admins and ridiculed by the community at large. Meh, I was still right. People just don't like hearing difficult messages. Fuck them. In any event, the reason that I was able to sit back and laugh and take the stance that I did was that I was using the Homekit Bridge from Chamberlain, which allowed for local control. I wasn't using that shitty MyQ cloud integration. When I pushed the button, the command went directly to my home bridge on my local network, and the door went up or down immediately. No going out to the cloud, no reliance on the internet, no delays, no fears about Chamberlain taking away my ability to use something that I wasn't paying for. The discussion of local control, though, that's a different video. Alas, the Homekit Bridge was discontinued. So what's a guy to do? This is the answer. Hi, I'm Jeff with Fast How To, and today we're looking at the RATGDO. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not defending what Chamberlain did. Frankly, I don't give a damn what Chamberlain did. It didn't affect me in the least since I had already designed my smart home to account for the inevitability of such things. Everyone who was crying about it either didn't listen or didn't care and paid the price. It's a hard way to learn, but I hope they did learn from it so that they make better decisions about the design of their smart home. That way, they don't ever get caught in a situation like that again. Having said that, I do understand why Chamberlain did what they did, and really, if you think about it objectively, I think you'll understand too. Imagine that you had a guest Wi-Fi network, and your neighbors came over to visit and had connected to it. then they start using your guest Wi-Fi network at their house instead of paying for their own internet access. But you're like, it's fine. It's just a handful of people. I've got crazy fast internet, no big deal. But then let's imagine that it's not just a handful of people. Let's imagine you live in an apartment building. There are 30 apartments in your building and your Wi-Fi signal kicks ass. All 29 of those other apartments all just start using your Wi-Fi and cancel their internet service to save themselves money. Meanwhile, the bandwidth that's available for you to do anything on the internet connection that you are paying for keeps shrinking and shrinking. You change the password and think nothing more of it. Well, a few days later, somebody figured out the password and hands it out to everyone in the building. And again, your internet speeds are in the crapper. Now you're mad. You use one of my other videos to automatically change your guest Wi-Fi password every night, and you hang a notice in the lobby saying that nobody is allowed to use your Wi-Fi. Imagine your surprise when 29 angry neighbors show up at your doorstep with pitchforks and torches because you took away the internet that they weren't paying for and weren't supposed to be using in the first place. Sure, the parallel isn't exactly the same, but to be honest, it's not like I sat down and thought about how to make my point for hours and hours prior to making this video. Instead, I had a few glasses of whiskey and here I am. Now, I'm sure you can see the point that I'm driving at here, right? You had set something up to allow people to use it when they were at your apartment and you didn't charge them to use it. Then they found a way to start using it from places that you didn't intend them to use it from on devices that you didn't give them permission to connect from. Then they got mad when you took away their ability to do that when you never gave them permission to do it in the first damn place. I'm sure you'd be pretty pissed at your neighbors too. That's pretty much what happened with Chamberlain. They created a service, they made it available on the internet for use with their app. Making that service available costs money. Internet connection, bandwidth utilization, server hardware or cloud consumption, software development, all not free. Then people started accessing that service in unauthorized ways. As a result, Chamberlain took steps to stop this unauthorized access, and everybody got butthurt and took up their pitchforks and torches against the big bad corporation. Now, if it was a subscription service, sure, I could understand. If you were paying for something that allowed you to access the API from anywhere, at any time, from any device, using any software, and then all of a sudden one day you got an email that says, the price remains the same, but now you can only use it from our app. Hell to the yeah! I'd be mad pissed off about that. Naturally, I'd cancel my subscription. So what were the pissed off users going to do in this case? Cancel the subscription they never had? Stop paying Chamberlain money they were never paying to begin with? Get the fuck out of here. The final thing I have to say on this topic, and maybe this will help to address any of the shortcomings in my previous parallel I tried to draw with that guest network. I'd like to address a video made by Everything Smart Home on this topic. In it, Lewis said, and I quote, "If you buy a device that is attached to or dependent on the cloud, you really don't own that device. That is nothing short of sensationalist hyperbole. He should get a job working for a cable news channel." The fact of the matter is, Chamberlain Group advertised that the garage door included a wall-mounted button, 1 or maybe 2 remote controls for your vehicles, obstruction sensors, and that some models supported the use of their MyQ app for remote control of the garage door from your cell phone. Nowhere did they advertise that it was compatible with Google Home or with Amazon's She Who Shan't Be Named or SmartThings, and they damn sure never advertised that it was compatible with Home Assistant. Don't own it though? Let's explore that. Did Chamberlain come to your house and take your garage door opener in the middle of the night because you had attached it to Home Assistant? Of course not. Did they make your Chamberlain provided remote control in your vehicle stop working? Nope. What about your wall-mounted button? Still works, right? So let me get this straight. The piece of equipment that you bought and paid money for still does exactly what the company who made it says it would do, but you don't own it? Sure. Try again, Lewis. In any event, one angry user, instead of simply complaining about it on the internet, decided to take action and came up with this little whiz-bang contraption. He called it Rage Against the Garage Door Opener, or RATGDO for short. It's an ESP32 device that you connect to your garage door opener that allows for local control from Home Assistant. No cloud to be turned off, no API to be blocked, no delay from having to go out on the internet and send a command, none of that shit. The even better news? It's cheap. Like $45 US cheap. Last I looked, that Homekit Bridge that I was using cost over $100. Now, my Homekit Bridge still works just fine. My garage door goes up and goes down every single time I push the button, just like it's supposed to. So what am I doing with this? This little contraption has several advantages that my Homekit Bridge does not. I can turn the light in the garage door opener on or off instead of it only going on when the opener is activated or via a motion sensor. I can control how much the door is open, like opening it halfway if it's raining, but I need to air out the stench from the dead mouse that I caught in my Z-Wave mouse trap. But that's a different video. The other reason I'm switching to this, honestly, is because I wanted to make this video. I wanted to be able to show you guys how this thing works, how to flash it, how to configure it, how to install it, and how to add it to Home Assistant. That's right. I spent my own money to buy something to replace a fully functional solution that I'm already using just so I could show you guys how to set this up, because the solution that I'm using isn't available for you to use. So if you find this video useful and you'd like to help out with costs of stuff like this, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com. My patrons have access to all sorts of exclusive benefits starting as low as $3 US per month. I'll leave a link in the description to it. And if you want a response to your comment on this video, there's a public post over on my Patreon page that contains the secret word. You need to use that word in your comment, or I'm going to assume that you didn't watch the whole video and are just commenting to yell at me about the Chamberlain stuff in the beginning because you didn't bother to listen to my explanation. To all my current patrons who helped me buy this device and allowed me to make this video, thank you. So what's all included in the package? We get the RATGDO device, obviously, and we get a USB power brick. We get a USB cable. And we also get a couple of small wire harnesses. These are explained in the instructions, and I'll show you what these are for once I get this installed and show you a picture of that. Let's head over to the desk and get this thing flashed so I can take it out in the garage and get it installed. All right, so I just want to set expectations here. This will be the first ESP32 device that I've ever worked with. So you're coming along on the journey with me while I figure out how to get firmware out of this and do all that other shit, okay? Might be a little bumpy, but we're gonna get it done. If you don't have any ESP32 devices, then this is what you'll be in for, because I've never done it either. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got the page up here for RATGDO, right? This is where you go to order it from. But if you scroll down, here's the installing the firmware section, right? So first thing we need to do, we need to be using Google Chrome. Yep, I am. We need to connect the RATGDO to Mac or PC with the USB cable. Okay, here's the RATGDO, and here's the USB cable that they provided in the kit. So plug this into my computer. And let's head over to the ESP Web Tools Flasher. Okay, and let's use this here. So my garage door opener looks like that. And I have the RATGDO 2.5 and connect. All right, cool. Ah, look at that, nice. Okay, install that. Yeah. I guess I don't need to do that. It should be blank, right? I didn't say if we're supposed to do that or not. I'll do, well, no, we'll do this. Installation complete. Okay, next. Well, we already did that, right? So let's connect to Wi-Fi, I guess. Okay, so that's the name of my IoT network. So I'll put in the password for that. Okay, it's connected to the network. Outstanding. Let's add it to Home Assistant right away, I guess, before I even go put it in the garage. Why not? Remember, kids, set up two-factor authentication on your Home Assistant. Okay. There we go. Can't connect to ESP. Make sure your YAML file contains an API line. I'm going to go Google that. I'll be right back. Okay. Well, it's connected to my network. I just put the IP address in a browser and look at all this cool shit. Apparently you can control this right from the browser. That's pretty neat. Still don't have a solution to my Home Assistant issue yet, but I'm getting there. I'm going to try and flash it again just in case. Okay. All right, so there's the RATGDO. It is added. Look at that. All right, I am going to go out in the garage and wire this thing up, take a couple of really nice pictures to show you guys exactly how all that's done, and then we'll come back, add it to the dashboard, and we'll make the garage door go up and down, and we are back. I have installed the RATGDO onto my garage door opener and verified that everything works. The remote in my wife's truck works, the wall-mounted button works, the obstruction sensors work, all of that. The only difference that I found so far is that when you close the garage door remotely using Home Assistant, it doesn't beep anymore. With this, which is what I was using, this is the LiftMaster HomeKit integrated piece that I was using, the Home Bridge. If anybody's interested in this, I'll be giving this away over on my Patreon. So sign up there and maybe you can win this if you want it. But in any event, when you close the button using the HomeKit integration through that device, it would make the garage door opener beep so that if somebody was in the garage, there was a notification that the door was about to close. It no longer does that now. When you close the garage door through Home Assistant, the door just closes, which on one hand is nice because there's no more delay for the beeping. And the lights used to flash as well with the beeping. No more flashing. Now it just closes immediately. I'm mildly concerned about that, I guess, but not really. There's the obstruction sensors still work. I did test them. I also tested the pin pad on the outside of the garage. I entered the pin code and it opened up the door and closes the door. So all the functionality is still there as it was. The only thing that's missing is the beeping and the light flashing. But we gained manual control over the light, and we can also open and close the door part way. So let's get this added to my dashboard and Home Assistant, and we'll take a look. All right, so I got this all added to my dashboard. I'll show you what that looks like. So here we go. Pretty easy. Now, I didn't record me actually installing the RATGDO since the wires are tiny and my fingers are fat and my garage is a mess. But I did take several detailed pictures so I can show you everything you need to know. Let's take a look at those now. So I only had to use this one pigtail over here. I did not need the black one. And I also didn't have to wire anything to this, as you can see. And then on the garage door opener itself, pretty straightforward. The red went to the red, the white went to the white, and the black went to the gray. And that was it. It was very, very simple. The instructions that are provided by RATGDO are kind of confusing. It made me think I'd have to pull all these wires out and plug them into here on the side, because that's kind of what the instructions show. Like this, but I don't know why. Like I said, I tested everything. Everything works fine. The wall-mounted button still works. The obstruction sensors still work. All that stuff. I just left them plugged in directly to the garage door opener and wired up this one pigtail. Good to go. And then gave it power from outlet above it, and Bob's your uncle. There you go. Now you know how to set up local control of a Chamberlain garage door opener in Home Assistant, and there's nobody that's ever going to be able to stop you from using it. If you've made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching all the way through. Links to the RATGDO, as well as this episode's t-shirt and everything else in my smart home and my studio, can be found in the description below, so be sure to check that out. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that I was able to teach you something new. I'm looking forward to all your thoughtful comments and the interactions to follow. And until next time, go automate something, will ya?